So how is life in Austin? How are you getting on?
Pretty good. I just got back from the pool. It's about 90 degrees. Um, so it's a bit different to home. Obviously, it's not bad. It was actually mad. There was a massive thunderstorm last night. It's weird the way last night, like my whole room was like a disco. It kept on lighting up with lightning and thunder, and then pouring rain. This morning we woke up. It's 90 something degrees outside. The pool is open and stuff. So it's just a bit. It's weird, but it's class.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that when I lived in St. Louis, it was real hectic. Like there was a period of the year where it'd be like that exactly.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah.
And is it hot all year round over there? Like when you went first?
Yeah, like when I arrived in November. It was pretty hot. There was like a cold snap in. We got back. We had Christmas off. We got like a 3 week training camp in November, and then went back for Christmas. To actually didn't go home. I just went to New York. But then when we got back from Christmas, in the mid, like maybe the end of January, start of February, it was freezing. There was snow and everything, and like it's funny because Texas isn't able for that. Like it was a small bit of snow and like it was pretty cold, but like our reception closed down. Our train we weren't allowed to train. Where like when I was in New York, we were training in the snow, so it's a bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And how did you end
every
up?
other day is really just every other day is just really warm, so it's not bad. Have to be careful of the old Irish
Yeah,
skin though.
yeah, get the factor 50 on. And
Yeah.
how did you end up going down to Austin? How did that end up happening?
Um. So really, well, we played them when I played for Atlanta last year. It was probably one of my best games of the year, to be honest. We actually lost. It was in Austin. I was playing for Atlanta. We actually lost, but it was probably one of my best games of the year. And just after the season, after the final last year in the Coliseum, I didn't really know what I was going to do because I was basically going to quit rugby before I moved to Atlanta because I thought my everything was kind of over. So I didn't know if I was going to pursue again because I was only on a 1 year in Atlanta, or do I go somewhere else, or do I go home, or do I try my hand somewhere overseas even more? But I was just Sam Harris, the head coach, and Mark Gerard got in touch with me pretty sharpish, and like honestly, from chatting with them, they're two legends. I actually didn't know Mark Gerard. I remember watching Mark Gerard when I was younger. Wake up every morning on Saturday to watch Super Rugby, and at first I didn't know that was him that was on the phone to me because he's our backs coach, and I was like, oh yeah. And then I met him. I was like, this is crazy, but yeah, they're just really keen, and they just seemed like really good lads. Um, I like the brand of like Australian footy is just like kind of heads up, do whatever you like, play what you see, and they just were like so adamant for me to come down here, and I kind of liked that feeling of like actually being wanted because I was when I was in New York, obviously I was turfed out, so like I didn't have that feeling, and then Atlanta wanted me to stay, but no, I just saw a good opportunity to come to Austin, and it's a booming city. It's ridiculous, the city. It's class. So I was happy enough to come down here. Have you been?
Nice one. Yeah, it's mad. No, I haven't been. It's mad when you say they're booming city. Like a few of the lads I know from Lindenwood moved there when they graduated, like or when I was leaving around 2017, 18-ish.
Mm.
And since then, it's like, Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, everyone moving there, like Tesla, all this carry
It's
on.
crazy. It's crazy. It's mad. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
and
see it. There's a few. Apparently, a few. I think they're called Austinites. They call it. They're not very happy with it. Like the original Austin people, they're not very happy with the whole like booming sector and like prices. Obviously, house prices and like everything's going up, but like you can't not want that for your city. Like if you've it's like if you go downtown, like it's such a young city as well because it's so tech oriented, and like UT is in the middle of the city. It's just everyone's so young and just seems like everyone's just really happy, which is funny because when I think of Texas, obviously what's happening at the moment with all the shootings and stuff, it's crazy. Like you kind of feel like Austin's kind of a different part of Texas because it's like much more. I don't know if it's. I think it's much more blue rather than red. I think it's more that or something like that.
yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
yeah.
So
And
it's a
no,
bit different.
100%. And I think Matthew McConaughey lives there too. I heard him talk about that before as well, how it's like a bit different to the rest of Texas.
yeah. He goes to the Austin United or something like that. That's the football team, and he goes to the matches and screams out the stands and stuff. Like, it'd be unreal if we could get him to one of our games. It'd be sweet. It'd be ridiculous.
That'd be sick. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be good. Get on to him. And when you were
yeah.
saying there you were turfed out in New York, what happened there?
Oh, not like it was just more. I think it was surplus to requirements. Really, I think they got a new coach in, new owner. My first year was an like James Kennedy, if you ever heard of him, the man, the myth, the legend, from New York. He was the owner, and then they got a new owner, and obviously looking at their team now, they wanted to go down the road of New Zealand players, and it's obviously working out for them. I think there's no Irish lads left. Maybe Dylan Fawcett is there, but he's American Irish. That's the only one left. So this went down a different pathway. So they do like I've no problem with it. It's just I wasn't really turfed out. I was just told you don't have a contract, which is basically the same thing, but it wasn't as much like get the hell out of here. So
Yeah,
yeah,
mad. And you were playing pretty well though, weren't you? Like you did all right in your 2 years there.
did grand. Yeah, I honestly think it was probably the best thing for me because I think I was kind of comfortable, and also when I went over to New York my first year, um, it was kind of like a bit of a junket. Like I was planning on going over on a grad visa, and anyway, so I was going to New York, and then I got a call off James English, the old manager, and he was just like keen for rugby in New York, and I was like, yeah. And then I didn't. It's not that I didn't take it seriously, but I didn't really take my body or my health very seriously when I was in New York. It's pretty wild place sometimes. And then COVID was probably the best thing for me because I had like 9 months back in Ireland, and everything was closed. Bar my mate had a gym in his granny's shed, and every day I'd go there. Because I sold my car before I left New York, so for the first 4 months, I bought a car after 4 months. But for the first 4 months, my dad's a real ruggerhead, so he dropped me up to Rathmines. This is when height of the lockdown, so you couldn't. I wasn't even supposed to travel 2k. My dad was like, "I don't give a shit. You're going to the gym." I'm like, "Okay." So he drive up to Rathmines. Uh, he'd wait outside for like an hour. I'd do a gym session. He'd drive me home every day for 4 months until I bought a car. But I do that, and I do like an F45 a night, and it just put on a bit of size. And to be honest, I don't think if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here because I just kind of took my rugby and like health and gym way more serious in the after during that lockdown, and then it paid off with obviously went to Bermuda, the tens, which was good crack, and then got signed by Atlanta. So yeah,
Nice one. And but I saw then that you were thinking of, so around that period when you were let go by New York, you're back home. Were you thinking of kind of at one point leaving professional rugby a little bit, or you weren't really sure what you were doing? Were you kind of in limbo a bit there at that
yeah,
point?
yeah. I was working on a construction site for my mate. I still was chasing the dream a small bit, so like I well, I can't remember when I started, but it must have been around October or September I started, and like from when do we get back? April that year till September, I was just gymming, and then I was like, right, time to get a job because the rugby could be over. But then I still had a small bit in my mind that I was like trying to go again. So kind of didn't like put a feeler out for a full time job. So my mate was like, "Here, I'll pay you to be on the construction site." So I was working in the Dean and all the press up hotels doing all this stuff during COVID when they were when it was locked in. They were just getting all renovations and stuff. And so I'd wake up every morning at 6 o'clock to do a row session. Then I'd go do 9 hours on site, and then I'd do a gym session. And then sometimes I'd go to Lansdowne train as well, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it was I was in bits by the end of it. And then I think it was just after Christmas, I was like, all right, I'm done because no one was biting on me. Everyone I everyone I talked to and my agent talked to, I got nowhere. And then I said to my sister, I was like, all right, I need to get off this site because I'm going to break my back if I if I keep doing this. So I had a degree and I had a master's, so I was like, let's just start trying a LinkedIn profile, and then we'll go from there. And she's like, let's just wait one more day. Actually, no, sorry, we created the LinkedIn profile that night. She was like, let's just wait one more day. to see what happens because it was it was like one game into the season already. See what happens, and the next day, Scott Lawrence, the old head coach of Atlanta, called me, being like, "Can you get on a plane tomorrow or in 2 days to Atlanta?" I was like, "Yeah." I remember I was living above my dad's pub with two of my mates, three of my mates, and I was just like shocked because they were just, for the last 9 months, they're just like, this gobshite thinks he's actually going back. He's working on site, like he's not. There's no chance he's going back. Like, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not going anywhere. And then I come up every single night. I'd be like, oh, I'm going here. I'm going here. I have a chance here. And then it's like, yeah. I'll see you in the morning. Yeah, go back and work on site. And then I went up to them. I was like, lads, I'm going to Atlanta. They're like, thank fucking Christ, almost, like they're just like, Jesus Christ, like thank God you've got something. So went, and yeah, rest is history, really. It's a mad story though. I
Wow,
can't get out. You couldn't write it like.
that is daft. Yeah. And so were you just gonna get a job in an office and play with Lansdowne?
Yeah, literally, yeah. Probably try and jump over
Yeah.
to. I was probably going to try and feck off to Australia or something at some point as well, just because I kind of want to go there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And that's mad. And how does it work then with visas and all that carry on? Like, do you still had a visa from your time in New York? Did you to go back to Atlanta?
Yes, yeah. So I had a 3 year P1 visa. It's like a professional visa, and that actually ran out. I had one more year on it, so Atlanta, it was pretty easy for Atlanta to get me over. But then it actually ran out in September this year, so I got a new one through Austin. So I'm in 2 more years, but it's pretty easy to renew. Once you have it, it's pretty easy to renew. It's just getting it is kind of the issue. But I think because I'm here 5 years now, well, I will be after my second year in Austin. I think you can apply for a green card, so might be able to try and do that. Hopefully, maybe.
That'd be nice. Yeah. And
Very nice.
then when, yeah, yeah, and then when you were leaving, so like Atlanta still wanted you. You were in like the was it second MLO or all team or whatever. You were balling last year at Atlanta, and they wanted to keep you. And then Austin got in touch. What was it? Was it you said the coaches really wanted you? What was it kind of that you were like, this could be a good move because things looked to be going all right there too.
Yeah, I liked it. I loved Atlanta. It was pretty good fun, but yeah, it was just kind of the other, like another opportunity. As in terms of the city, I've heard so much about Austin. Like a few of my friends have lived here, and I don't think I've ever heard a bad thing about this place. And yeah, they just like talking to, like, when you're on the phone to someone and they kind of got me excited. Like Sam Harris and Mark Gerard, anytime they talked to me, it was just like I was so excited to for the opportunity to come down here. And like I knew a few of the players down here. Their culture is pretty good. Like it's very family oriented. Like I'm going over for dinner now in a bit to the Mac Mason, the Tens house. Just kind of like, it's like they just kind of sold the whole family uh, vibe to me here. And to be honest, I like, as soon as it's kind of nice getting a phone call and someone wanting you. So I don't think I've ever had something like that. Where, like, obviously when I moved to Atlanta, they needed me as well as wanted me, but this was like they didn't even need me; they just wanted me straight away. So it was kind of like one of my first opportunities to ever have a phone call like that, and I was just like, yeah, you got me as soon as you said you wanted me so bad. So I was like, perfect, and I'm loving it. Like it's class down here. It's deadly.
Yeah, nice one. And what do you think it is that like you're doing
Yeah,
so well? Like you're was a point off the top, but you don't seem to have like the same superstars or maybe like big names as other teams might. But like, what is it that you're
yeah.
doing well there?
I don't know. Like that was kind of the similar buzz to last year as well with Atlanta. We were just like, in terms of Atlanta last year, we were just dogged. Like my team were full of men with just put their heads in crazy places. But I think with this team this year, like we don't have like outrageous names, but like if you go, I always think, like, when you look on paper, our team is actually pretty stacked, to be honest. Like but they have like good positions. Like we've Marcel Bracchi, who played I don't know, a lot of years for the Western Force, like 10 plus maybe. I'm going to say 10 plus, I'm not sure. And then like Mac Mason are 10, played for the Waratahs, was in Australia camp once or twice. Seven, McLean Jones played for the Waratahs. Like all these players, you never hear them, but they have played at like higher levels. Bryce Campbell played for London Irish. Julian Dominguez played for the Argentina team. So like Seb Chavez, my roommate, played for Leicester, London Irish, and Newcastle. So like, and Lockie McCaffrey played in Japan, Waratahs, Leicester. These players, like they're not big names, but they've played big rugby, which is kind of, I think that's much better because like the media doesn't attract them as much, so we're kind of going under the radar, but they're just as good. And also,
Yeah.
they don't have like a big head on, like I don't know, not a big head, but a more they've already. I don't know. I feel like I'm playing Man NONU this weekend. I'm marking him, so that'll be interesting. But like he has so much to live up to in every game that like it's he can't play. He can't play at the level of a World Cup winner that he did when 2015 every game. But everyone expects him to do that. So like if he doesn't play a good game, if he doesn't play that well, they're like, oh, what's going on with him? Whereas all these players were kind of just going under the radar of like we have these big players and we just everyone just kind of puts their skills together and have just done pretty well this year. I think one of the things that Sam Harris said to me at the start of the year, Mark Gerard, he was like, I don't want you to be really good. I don't want you to be good at 4 or 5 things. I want you to be excellent at 1 or 2 things. And we're just going to use that, which is kind of good for me because I'm kind of limited sometimes.
No, that's brilliant. That's really good that he says that because, yeah, it can
Yeah.
be kind of confusing, and overwhelming, isn't it? Sometimes if a coach is like, "Do this, do this, do this," and then when you're here, do this, and then do that, and then do
Yeah.
this other thing. Whereas if you just like
Yeah.
everyone's good at 1 or 2 things, and if you just focus hard on those,
Absolutely.
then you'll play well.
Yeah. Because you don't have to. You don't have like my role isn't as like I play. I'm mostly playing 13. Like, yeah, the top international players in the world have to be good at everything for 13. But like this league, obviously, it's a really good league and it's the highest I've played. But like, I don't have to be a 10 out of 10 passer, 10 out of 10 kicker, a 10 out of 10 runner, 10 out of 10 defender. If I'm a 10 out of 10 runner or like an 8 out of 10 runner and an 8 out of 10 defender, that's good enough for our team. And then the other people around me will do the 8 out of 10 passing or 8 out of 10 kicking or whatever. You know what I mean? It's kind of the way. Like he doesn't like because if I focus on too many things, those 2 things that I'm good at will depreciate as well because I won't give them enough time. So it's pretty good. It's a good way of managing players because I think my head would explode if I had to try and become like a good at everything I do. So
No, 100%. Yeah. And how do you find then, like, I was going to say, moving around different positions? Like, you play wing, 12, 13, a bit ever in the back line. But is it kind of just once you're,
yeah,
I suppose now you kind of answer it, but once you're just focused on one thing, do you kind of just focus on that same thing wherever you're playing?
yeah. I mean, obviously they're kind of like they're not too far away from each other. Like 12 and 13 are obviously quite close. It just depends what type of 12 or 13 you're playing. And then wing, like I played wing on the weekend there, and I like it, but my favorite position is 13. I think you get the ball a bit more at 13, and there's a lot more chance of you running hard lines and like sidestepping and stuff rather than I think wing is like they kind of sometimes throw you the ball and see how fast you can run. So I like my favorite position is 13, but yeah, it's not too bad like to just swap around positions. I remember a couple like 2 or 3 weeks ago, our head coach was like, we might try on because I played every game at 13. He's like, we might try on the wing some week. How do you feel about that? I was like, I'm okay with it, but like, he's like, I'm fine with it. I'll play wherever you want. I'll play hooker if you want me to play hooker. If it means I'm on the starting team, and he's like, okay, cool. And he walked away. I was like, but please don't play me hooker. And he's like, yeah, perfect. Don't think so.
Yeah, yeah. And where did you play mostly growing up?
13. Yeah, I mean, I in school, junior cup, 12 and junior cup, 13 and 12. Yeah, 13 and 12 really. Lansdowne was actually more 12. New York was 13. Will Leonard was 12, and then Atlanta was 13, and then now here 13. So I like
Yeah,
that.
good stuff. And then yeah, going back then you say schools. So you're in Michael's pretty good one. What were the plans? Like
Yeah,
what were and you played Leinster 19s was it when you left? But what were the like goals back then or what were your plans with rugby when you were that age?
yeah. I always wanted to make it I always wanted to play in like Leinster and like back at home and stuff. Um, when I was in school, I think I could have taken it a bit more seriously. Um, especially when I got to like fifth and sixth year, maybe. I know I made the subs in fifth year for the cup team and we won, and then didn't make was sub in sixth year, and I was quite annoyed about that. But like, I think for me, looking back on it, I could have been a bit more mature about the situation, and then kind of went up to Connacht 20s, did pretty well up there, and then kind of just fell off the wagon. To be honest, in my honest opinion, just was out partying a lot. I had like not, I didn't think I had a chance with like so many other people around me and stuff. But I remember I was talking to one of the S and Cs and when I was up in Connacht 20s, and they said they were looking at me, but they didn't, that I'd have to like show a bit more to see if I get like a sub academy or something like that. And I think it kind of haunts me to this day that I wasn't as motivated as I was in the COVID season than I was back then, because I think if I actually went, to be honest, I think if I went to the gym and took my diet and didn't go out partying 24/7 and ate right for like when I was that age, like 19, 20, 21, 22, I could have had a bit more. I'm not saying I would have made it at all. Probably wouldn't have, but I definitely would have given myself a better chance because like, I was playing in Lansdowne. Lansdowne's one of the best clubs in Ireland, and like we were won the AL and top try scorer, second top try scorer when we lost in the semi final and stuff like. So I was doing the right things. I just wasn't doing all the. I was doing some right things, but I wasn't doing all the right things, and it kind of ticks me off, to be honest sometimes, because like this whole like played pretty all right last year and doing pretty well this year, and I just kind of feel like maybe I left that behind me, but even saying that, even now, like thinking to like test myself to go overseas or something would be unreal. But I also love my life over here, and it's hard to, because I'm 27, turn 28 in September. Like obviously rugby isn't forever, so like I can see myself staying in America for the rest of my life. So if I ever did get an opportunity, it'd have to be a pretty big one to leave here, because I'm going to stay. I want to be here for the rest of my life.
Yeah, man, I feel exactly what you're saying there about like when you're younger. I was
Yeah,
a lot of it resonated with me. Geez, like the exact same. Like you're saying, like playing
yeah,
underage, like 19s, 20s, and then you look around you and see lots of good players, and then you're like, well, I'm not as
yeah,
good as him right now, so I'm not going to make it. And then
yeah.
you
And then
kind
you
of,
just
I
yeah.
suppose, become a bit defeatist, don't you? And then you're like, well, fuck it, I'm
Hmm.
not going to make it because he's better than me right now, and I the exact same as you, just partying all the time.
Yeah, shocking.
And
It was good crack.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it
it took a
is,
few years off my life,
yeah,
maybe. But yeah,
yeah, it is daft though then as well. Like you say, it's funny as well because I think when you're in those like you say you're in Connacht Twins or you're in these higher levels and you've such a narrow view, whereas in the States, then you go over there, you're ripping it up. You're one of the best players in the league. You know what I mean? But you look around like
I'm
lands
trying to
in
be.
Ireland, and it's yeah, but it's you know what I mean. You
Yeah,
look
it's
around,
mad.
it's tough.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah,
But then, like, even like
and
you look around this league's crazy at the moment. Like in terms of some of the people that like I'm lining up against Man NONU this weekend or last weekend. Paul Asike played for Harlequins for 4 years. He was playing last weekend. Weekend before, who did he play? Like he played LA. Billy Meeks, Quade Cooper's training with them. Matt Giddo was with Adam Ashley Cooper. After like some of the people that you run into, you're just like, what the hell is going on here? Because like it's such a desirable, like America is such a desirable place to live, like in terms of like weather and like just everything about it. That I don't know when this league's going to get like big enough to compete with Pro 14 or anything like that. But I don't know if this is going to sound very well, but I think it will in numerous years, like a long time away. But because it has to, because it's such a desirable place. and like there's stupid amount of money in this country. Like the owner of our team and the LA team owns F45 is worth like 500 million or something like that, like something crazy. Like it's more than the people the owner of Leinster and all that. So like, oh, well, that's the RFU, but like you get what I'm saying. Like it's just like there's so much
Yeah,
money in this country that it's like these oh like it's kind of like what happens with the MLS. Like all these older players come to retire, but like it's going to just open up a pathway for all the younger players like that. What happened with me, but even younger, but like coming out of school, they'll be like, I want to move to America. There's just so much money there, and I'll just live the life on a beach in California and play rugby for LA. It sounds
yeah,
a lot better than
100%. No, spot on.
9 months in the piss and rain in the sports grounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I fully agree. I think it will, like you say, with the MLS, like that took a while. It was like David Beckham was maybe the first big name. Then a load of them went over to retire essentially. But then you get
Yeah,
people who are a bit younger going over there, and it's similar even in MLR. Like you mentioned, Billy Meeks. Like he was in his late 20s, mid 20s, or he could have kept playing
yeah,
Super Rugby or Premiership, and there
yeah.
are a few other players that 100% could be playing elsewhere if they wished.
Oh, 100. Like even like I'd say from my team this year, I don't know if they're going to do medical jokers or sign yearly contracts. I know one or two have already signed on to the Premiership teams and going back to play ITM Cup and go back to Super for a little bit. But like that's just my team. Like I can imagine, like the whole New York team is probably going to go back to ITM Cup because they're all from New Zealand. Don't know what the buzz with most of the other, but like there's going to be everyone just kind of leaves because it's such a weird off season that everyone's just going to they pick up medical jokers. Like our hooker Hugh Roach was in Perpignan for medical joker for 6 months before coming here between seasons. So like everyone just picks up little gigs and stuff. So like they're able to play at that level. It's just I feel people are enticed to stay here because obviously it's professional. Obviously it's the highest level I played at. So I don't really know, but like America is just a bit looser in some points as well. You know what I mean?
Oh
You
yeah, for
can't.
sure.
It's
It's
not.
great
The
that
Premiership,
yeah.
but it's not the Premiership, but it's not club rugby. It's definitely not club rugby, but it's not too far. Like it's our head of S&C, our head of like health and performance was head of uh, health and performance for the Crusaders when they won like four supers and stuff. So like we're kept on a tight leash sometimes, and I think most teams are gradually building into that because I remember my first year in New York was a bit different to now. I tell you that for sure. Cathal Marsh might say a few words about it.
So it was like, yeah, I know what you mean. So you're saying like it was when the league was starting out, it was amateur players, a lot of kind of amateurs
Yeah,
stepping up and just seeing what it was
yeah,
like, and the structures wouldn't have been in
yeah,
place.
yeah. It was crazy. Our first year was my first year in New York was there was a lot more. There was a lot less rugby, a lot more partying. Just that's about it, really.
Yeah,
But it
yeah,
was
to
good.
put
It
it
was like
simply.
we got to the semi-finals, get lost with the last kick from the touchline conversion 20 by 1 point we lost. So yeah, but like you kind of have to do it. Like every league starts at some point, and obviously this league has grown in the last couple of years. I think there's more teams coming in next year as well, which could be even better. Someone said there could be potentially a Miami team, so that could be class.
Yeah, it's a cool place to live for sure. And what are your plans
Yeah.
for the off season?
Gonna go back up to New York. My missus lives in New York, so I'm just secured an apartment there. So I go up hopefully after the 24th. The 24th of November is the final, so I haven't booked any flights yet. So I'm hoping to go up there and play for Nyack. Do you know Nyack? New York Athletic
Yeah,
Club.
yeah,
Play for
yeah.
them.
I was up
Try and
there.
get the body right.
Yeah, I was up there a few years back with Deco. It was like
Oh
2016
yeah,
or 17. He was playing there. He's played there for a year or two before the New York team started up, and yeah, I went for a
yeah.
few beers on like the rooftop there, overlooking
It's
Central Park.
unreal,
It
isn't
was
it?
pretty slick. Yeah,
Your brother's. Sorry, your brother's playing. I got your brother. Is he playing? I think he was in touch with one of the
yeah,
coaches. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I was on to
he
him
was in
about
his chat.
coming over for sevens.
Yeah, he I think he's just this week or last week sussed out. He's got an apart. They've got an apartment, a couple of them from Lindenwood, and he's going to head up. I don't know, in the next 2 weeks or something. They finish up collegiate
That's
sevens, and yeah, he's going to head up there for the summer. So yeah, you can keep an eye on him.
that's good crack. Yeah, I'll try. He can keep an eye on me probably as well.
Yeah, and so yeah, and when does then the have you signed on for next season with Austin? Is
Yeah,
it
yeah. So we did. I actually just asked that question the other day because um, just about going back because I'm trying to figure out flights back home for Christmas and stuff. And so we probably report back for a camp, another 3 week camp in November, and then you get off from December, the whole month of December basically off, and then you're back in January 1st for I don't know when. I think the season started. The season starts the weekend after the Super Bowl every year. I think so. Whenever that is, the season starts. But yeah, should be good fun. Hopefully, we get go the whole way this year, and we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, I was tempted. I was thinking about trying to do something in the off season, really, about going somewhere else. But you can't pass up at somewhere in New York City, though, can you?
Yeah, it's nice for sure. And so I
Yeah,
play sevens there and playing. You be playing at seven, same as Neil, and in that like, oh,
yeah,
was it like national tournament? You go playing that,
yeah,
is it?
yeah. I don't know what it is to be honest. I think we play. I'm only going to get one of the sevens tournaments, maybe, maybe two. But there's that, and then you're off until end of August, and then you play like Old Blue is another New York team. Mystic is a Boston team. I think we might play Life, which is the Atlanta team, and then there's one more New York team. I can't remember who it is. White Plains, maybe I think it is, and you just play them in a round robin. It's pretty good. It's good fun. Like it's pretty chilled. It's nice. Like obviously rugby is great and stuff, but it gets pretty intense when you're living it 24/7. So it's kind of like obviously it's like a completely different buzz where I just train Tuesdays and Thursdays, an hour a session. I just do my own gym sessions. I have a gym in my apartment in New York, so do that kind of just get my body right for next year because I've taken a few knocks and bruises this season and play a couple of games and like just kind of enjoy kind of more social rugby. Obviously, it's still serious. Like I still want to win, but it's not as serious as this. So it's like it's quite good in the sense it's a good balance for your rugby career that I can have like 6 or 7 months serious rugby and then I still like I love it. So like I still can get the opportunity to go chill out, go to Nyack and obviously still compete and try and beat every team. But at the end of the day, if we lose by 2 points, I'm not going to go home and want to blow my head off. Whereas if we do that here, it's depressing sometimes. So it's it's good. It's like I kind of like the balance of my life at the moment with that, and yeah, going up to New York and is for the summer is going to be pretty nice as well.
Nice one. And yeah, I know what you mean there about like intense, but yeah, do you feel that like when you're in that environment, like in a pro league or in a pro team, like that kind of like winning, losing, like just intense, and like you say, like getting bit down after losses and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think this weekend, like we've had ourselves in pretty good shape for the whole season until we played LA and had a bye week and then played Utah last week. So before LA, we were 9 points clear. Yeah, yeah, 9 points clear at the top. Basically, favored to get a home. So if you get first, you get a home quarterfinal. You get a home semi-final. You get a week off, and like it's just, and you could potentially host the whole final of everything. And then we kind of didn't play our best against LA, but we were coming to a bye week, so we were like kind of brush it. Had a good night out, and then thought we'd come back pretty sharp against Utah. Got our pants pulled down quite literally, and that was probably the lowest point of the of this year. Even though it wasn't as upsetting, like we weren't. It wasn't. I remember a few times last year where like everyone was screaming at each other and very angry. Wasn't as bad as that, but it was just more like we didn't do ourselves justice. So like it was kind of everyone was down, but we're definitely not out. Like so, it doesn't make it's not that bad. I think this year in this team, because we're such close knit, it's kind of hard to be like so down or so sad sometimes because everyone's in it, and like it's not like if someone messes up, it's not the end of the world because everyone messes up every match. You know what I mean? Everyone makes mistakes, so yeah, I have been down before in matches, but I think this year it's actually been pretty good in terms of that because we've been doing pretty well as well. But yeah, we're just a pretty close knit team. So if someone's down, everyone gets around them and we go for a beer, go for a coffee, or get some food, or just chill out and watch a movie, or go to the pool, which is pretty nice as well.
Yeah, and when you say like last year and probably other times, well, people screaming at each other, like what kind of carry on would that have been?
Um, uh, First game for Atlanta, we played Washington DC. Oh Glory away. I was on the bench. I was just happy to be there. Obviously, with this whole story, I was like, can't believe I'm back here. I thought I was literally going to be in an office job for the rest of my life. I was pretty happy. Came on, scored a walk-in try. I was basically over the line already. Put the ball down. I was happy out. I was delighted, but we lost the game. But I'd only been there for like 4 days, so I was pretty happy to be there. I was pretty happy to be on the bench, and then I was pretty happy to score. But it was a disaster that we lost the game, and yeah, this was the first time I saw our coach very angry, and let's just say he wasn't very happy. But I couldn't keep the smile off my face because debut, 10 minutes off the bench, score a try. I remember like having a smile on my face and going up to him like, "Thanks so much for the debut and thanks." Like I got to try, and he's just like, "Oh, cheers, thanks very much," and just walks away. I was like, obviously he doesn't give a shit if I score a try or get a debut because he just wants the team to win. But yeah, that happened. Like that was like it. But like more like yeah, that was probably the only really time I remember back in Lansdowne. There wasn't too much. Mike Ruddock was pretty calm and collective person, although he was calm and collective with his voice. But it felt like when he was angry because the way I don't know the way he spoke. You know exactly what I mean. His voice would never raise, but he's angry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He'd say something like kind of a little bit sternly, and you're like, all right, I got to be better.
Yeah.
We got to be better here.
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna sort this out before he needs to go any further. That kind of way.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally. I don't want Mike Ruddock
Yeah,
trying to kill me because he's a big man.
yeah. It was funny then. One time we did get the hairdryer from him, and it was like, oh fuck,
Oh
oh
really?
shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nah.
After a game, it was we were down in Young Munster, like 21-3 up, I remember. And we had like a ridiculous team. It was like John Cooney, Matt Healy, maybe Marty Moore. All these boys were back. I don't know why, but they were all back for one game. And yeah, we were like 21-3 up. And then we turned down a kick at the goal and went for the corner.
Hmm.
And then, to be honest, the referee actually just rode us all the way for the last 20. Genuine. Like, I don't try not to talk about referees too much, but down in those sometimes away in those kind
Yeah.
of clubs on the side, the fans are like
He,
banging on the side, and
yeah, man.
yeah, the rest are giving penalties. It was funny then once yeah, we had like a line out in the corner, we scored, the ref gave us try to go 28 or 26 up, and then they turned it over because one guy off the sideline one fan nearly jumped on, started screaming, so the ref's like, oh yeah, okay, it was out of play. Anyway, they scored another couple tries, they won, and Mike's like, who said to go for the corner when we were three scores up, whatever. And Scotty was like, yeah, I made that
Scott
shout, and I was
DC.
just like, oh, yeah, Scotty, yeah, yeah. He was Scott Easy was like, yeah, that was, and it was completely the right call at the time. We were killing them, like, and then the
Yeah.
ref just
Yeah.
rode us, but then Mike is like, that is ridiculous, just went to town on him, and we were all just like, oh jeez, oh god, and then quiet bus home for
Scott
sure, and
probably
then we
gave
had
it back to him as well.
Nah, this was
Scott
like you
was
say, it
Scott.
was one of those times where Mike absolutely lost it. It was like, don't say a word. Because even though it was
Oh
actually
really?
like the
Really?
right, I think it was the right call to like we were all
Yeah.
saying go to the corner. I would have been saying it too. And but then
Yeah.
yeah, Scott would talk back, but this time was like
Oh
keep
yeah.
it zip, just let him blow it off. Yeah.
Scott was even worse. you were obviously gone by that stage, but when he started getting old Scott DC, he was even more fiery because he saw all these young tens coming in. Fuck you now! This is my spot and all this. He's so funny.
Yeah,
Oh, he's some man.
great man. Fuck, he was
Yeah,
some. Yeah, geez, he kept going at it though. He was like, I remember leading the fitness and stuff. He
workhorse.
wasn't even that old. Jeez, you were what age we are now? You're what 27. I'm 29. He was only that age. You know, just
Yeah,
because we were young 20s, we thought, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And,
Fair.
you know, we thought it was so old. We thought 27, 28, but no.
Yeah,
And what's the travel like over there? Like, what so do you travel like days of games, day before games? Like lots of flying, I'd imagine, is it?
yeah, yeah. It's kind of cool. Like that's what one of the biggest selling like points for. I tell people that are coming out like I get messages 24/7 from young academy kids or young kids from Ireland that are looking to come over. Your brother was one of them. I told him to go through the draft, which would be literally he'll get straight. He probably most likely get straight into a team, which would be class. Um, but like it's I've seen this is my fourth season. Well, COVID didn't really count, so like this is my third season really of traveling. I've seen cities and states that didn't think I'd ever see before. Like you go to New Orleans, Utah. You just travel everywhere. Just places that like aren't too far fetched to go. Like if you heard someone was going to New Orleans, you wouldn't be like, oh, that's mad. But like I'd never think of going there. I'd always, if I'm flying
Mm.
from Dublin, I'd be going to like New York or Florida or LA, Boston maybe. I'd never think of going to New Orleans or even Austin, Houston, Dallas, all these places. So it's class. But we normally travel. This year we travel generally the 2 days before. So we traveled last week. We went to Utah. We traveled Thursday, Friday. Well, like Friday captain's run, and then play Saturday home Sunday. Um, which is quite long to be honest, but it's kind of good to like acclimatize, especially Utah because it's at such high altitude. Um, but yeah, we travel every weekend. My room's a disaster at the moment. I don't want to show you my room because I just when you get home, you're just like get me to bed and you just throw everything everywhere. So sometimes it can be a bit of a pain in the
Yeah.
ass. Living out of a suitcase sometimes is a nightmare.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though that you get an extra, like you get 2 days. You're not kind of being rushed in now. I know you probably don't want to be on your feet, but do you
Yeah,
get time to kind of have a look around this place as you go?
yeah, 100%. You're always allowed to go out and explore and stuff. I don't really anymore because I've seen my first year in New York. We didn't really explore. We explored the pubs more than the scenery, but that was the first time where I went out, like went around more. And then last year I did a small bit, but this year not really, to be honest. Just because when you go to Utah, you see the mountains. You go to Utah, you see the mountains. You go to Utah, you see the mountains. I'm not going to go see the mountains three times or stuff like that. But like when you
Yeah.
go to like San Diego or LA, like to have an extra day there is unreal because we travel on Thursday, get in like 5 o'clock or something, and then go straight to the beach for a swim and just recover, and then you have the whole day Friday. Captain's run in the morning. Just go around Santa Monica or Pacific Beach or something like that. It's unreal. Like so, when you go to a place like that, it's class. Or like even when you meet up, like if we play New York, meet up with old friends, or go to Atlanta, meet up with old friends. So it is lovely to do stuff like that. But hopefully next year Miami have a team. We have a day off there.
Yeah, it'd be sick. And yeah, it's so cool
Yeah.
getting to chill on the beach and recover there and hang out. And when you mention New York there, like what was the crack? Like, would you be on the beer during the week or?
Not really. Not like I was kind of I because I could never perform if I was hungover. To be honest, so like there was some people obviously, but there's some people in the Premiership. There's some people in the Pro 14 or
Yeah,
whatever it's called URC that are on the beer during the week. Uh, you just they're able to perform and like I don't like I never really held that stigma against them. It was like my roommate Seb was also like he thinks I'm mental because I go to the gym. I do an extra gym session a day, but it kind of makes me feel better. And like he's like, that's everyone has a different way of getting themselves ready for Saturday. Like he's very good at recovery and stuff, and like uses a steam room, sauna, jacuzzi, and looks after his body that way. I just have to like do an extra gym session to feel like good about I feel like tight. If I feel tight going into a match, I feel strong enough to like break tackles and stuff. If someone wants to get hammered on a Tuesday or a Thursday, but still plays lights out on Saturday, I don't really care, to be honest. As long as they play lights out, it's once those things that you do that are uncharacteristic of being a professional that inhibit you being your best on Saturday. That's when I get pissed off because like we're all like this is my job. It's not just um like a experiment for me or just like a social thing. It's my job. So like if you don't play well, that might lose me the game. So that's if he wants to get hammered or like if anyone wants to have a few beers, you can have a few beers. I don't mind as long as you play on Saturday. So I'm very much of the opinion do whatever you want to do until it starts affecting your playing situation.
Yeah, and so with
Kind of.
gym sessions, what you do an extra session outside of like team lifts and stuff? You like just do a bit more.
Yeah, I do. The lads think I'm crazy, but yeah, I just do an extra one a day. So I do at the moment. I'm probably doing about 10 a week.
Jesus.
Yeah, just but
That's mad.
it's a
And
small little like it's like 4 sets, like little burst circuit. It takes about 25 minutes a day. So like you have so much time off that I just pound a double espresso. I'm actually just back from it here. That's why I have this, but I didn't use the double espresso because I was going to be tired for this. But just pound one of them and just get through it, and it just kind of makes me feel so much better on the weekends. I always say like when we like if you're in even Leinster 19s or Connacht 20s or even when we train here, we go to the gym before in the mornings and then we train. I sometimes feel that I train better than I play because I have that like lift in me that I feel like strong. You need power before a pitch. You just feel like tight with everywhere you go, and you're just like ready to hit someone or brace for a tackle. So I always just kind of had that man for the last 2 3 years anyway. 2 years I've had that like try and keep that tightness as much as possible. Always ready.
yeah, and you're lucky to have stacked on a bit of size as well, geez, since in the past couple of years. Is that from that COVID time you think as well, from when you're at home just gymming all the
That's
time?
literally. I literally went to the shed gym every day and did an F45 with like a couple of mates like Richie Allen. He played in Lansdowne.
Yeah, yeah,
A few of the lads every day we do an F45 as well. So I was doing a gym session and then I was doing my running and like fitness sessions as well. So like I did like, as soon as I got over like this year I did pretty well in the Bronco and stuff because I've been keep continuing doing that. So like yeah, I honestly think without the without the COVID 9 months, I wouldn't be here to be honest because I wouldn't have been picked up to be honest. It's good.
yeah. And what's the schedule like? You say time off. What are you in? Are you in like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or what's the kind of weekly schedule training wise?
Yeah. So we're obviously we're tailing it off a little bit at the moment because everyone's banjacks because it's not that long of a season, but it just happens so quickly. We're in week 16. There's two more, so 18 rounds. Hopefully semi-final, final. So 20 rounds, and you have 2 weeks off in 20 weeks. So it's like it's pretty tough, and also the player like they ask you to play a lot more games. It's not like Leinster where you play 1 week, don't play the next, play 1 week, don't play the next, because there's obviously not as much players here. So like I've played every game bar one when I was dying sick and I was almost about to play it as well. So they've kind of tailed off the training a bit, but generally it's review on Monday of the game on Saturday, in the morning, gym session as well, then have lunch there, and then kind of what is it then? Oh, you say then you go preview for the week coming, install of the whole preview, um, generally walking, and then top ups with like a cardio session or on field cardio or whatever you want to do. Tuesday, pretty tough training. Gym in the morning, meetings again, and then straight to field, 2 hour field of like pretty intense, more high speed, less contact. Wednesday is generally off, but you have massages and treatment, and then Thursday is very similar to Tuesday, but less high speed, more contact. Friday captain's run, Saturday game. Sunday off with
Nice.
massages. Massages are good though. They save you.
Oh yeah, massages are so good. Jeez, 100%. I remember the
They're
odd time we'd get them in
they're
Lanza, and
class.
they're the business.
They're unreal. We had them today. It's just like 45 minutes. I actually fell asleep in mine today, and you're just lying there. It's the best thing. Although they do hurt sometimes. Like I woke up and the girl was just digging into my back. It's just painful sometimes, but obviously they have to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And so the plans, like going forward, you were saying that, like, if if a mad offer came abroad, but you're pretty happy just play, you're pretty happy playing there, staying MLR, and you said you want to stay there for good.
Yeah, like I always, it's a dream of mine, obviously, to be able to not not technically like I always dreamed of playing. My mum always said because my mum's from Sligo, so I always dreamed younger when I was obviously Leinster were always the best, but my mum was like I always wanted to play for Connacht if you ever had a chance, and like I'd love to be able to chance my arm back there just to see how I get on. If anything ever occurred, like anything popped up, even like a medical joke or something, it'd be cool to have a think about it. But like it'd have to be. I don't even think I'm not talking about like the offer, like the money wouldn't have to. Like I don't really. It's not about that. It's just be more about the experience would have to be pretty good because I just love my life over here. Is just I'm loving it over here, and as I said to you, like I have serious rugby for 6 or 7 months, 7 months, and then I can just tail it off and just kind of play a bit of banter, basically, just play a bit of good crack rugby, and like way more chilled and obviously it's a completely different vibe because over here the season's is 7 months, so you have 5 months of twiddling your thumbs, like you don't know, like trying to figure out what I'm going to do for work in New York, and it's kind of funny when you think that like I'm a professional rugby player 7 months and then working in a bar for 5 months, so it's quite funny, but yeah, like if something ever like happened where I got an offer to go away, it'd be pretty sweet. I'd always love to do Japan just because it seems crazy, but yeah, I mean, it'd be a pretty cool experience. That's the best way I would say it. Like I'd love to try and chance my arm against players because it's more the experience of chance my arm against players that are seeing a higher level than me and see if I can keep up to that standard. Because there's players here that I've played with, that have played and played against, that have played in those leagues, and they've said that I could. So it would just be pretty. I'd almost put my head at ease a small bit if I was able to go over there and see you, maybe show up and maybe tear it up, maybe, or maybe get my head put up my ass. So one or the other, humbling or whatever.
Yo, that needs to happen. Andy, friend, let's go.
Yeah,
Get you
let's
over the
go. Please God, there's enough
yeah.
Australians here, so there's bring them back. Yeah, that'd be nice.
No, 100% you could for sure. And it's funny, it always was, but geez, it's nearly like a Lansdowne team at the moment with Farrell, Daly, Dooley's going there, Hefo. There's so
Yeah,
many of the boys.
loads of them. Scott Easy's coming out of retirement.
Is it? Yeah, yeah. No, that'd be class. And you mentioned no, that'd be unreal. You definitely could. Yeah, a Connacht. And you mentioned you had an agent. So what's the deal there? Is that like an American based kind of?
No, so I used to have an American one. Last year, got a new one when I moved to Austin. He's Australian. Richard Austin Corlevy, good bloke. He has a lot of the players. He has bit Meeks actually. He has Quade Cooper. Uh, he has a few the boys here. Mac Mason are 10. McLean Jones are 7. He has a few other people, but yeah, he's a good bloke. He's from Australia. He was actually over visiting when we played LA. Met him for the first time because obviously everything's online these days. But he even said to me like he could try and figure out something maybe, but I think it kind of shows that when someone says that, he said that to me, but then I haven't really pursued it. I kind of shows where my head is at in terms of like, yeah, it'd be such a cool opportunity, but I'm pretty happy where I am at the moment. But geez, if I think my mum would probably come over here and slap me in the face if I didn't take something like if I got an opportunity to play out back at home or anything. So
Yeah. But hey, let's get tell them to get on the phone to Connacht because you're Irish qualified. You go over in the fall. You can play a couple of months. Mac Hansen's in the
there you
Irish team
go.
now, so he'll be playing in the autumn internationals. And
There you
yeah,
go.
there you go. Happy days. You can cover 11, 12, 13,
Back
14,
three,
and you can go in.
cover the center.
Yeah, and you've already put it out here that you'll be pretty cheap. You're not. It's not about the money. So like, it's just win-win.
Yeah,
Let's go. Like
it's a
they can give you a
win-win.
little
There,
shitty
Andy.
one bed. Yeah,
There you go. I
Andy,
can
let's
live in
go.
what's the bars?
Gert
I used to live in
Carba.
Galway. I was there
Remember?
for 9 months.
Gert,
Gertna Carver, yeah,
you remember where we used to put up? Yeah, those
yeah,
student houses. Put you
yeah.
in a room in a
They're
student house, Gert
shocking.
Carba. You
There
can
you
walk
go.
up the back
Yeah,
way up to training, and then
yeah,
happy days. And they get you cheap for 3 months. Yeah, and then you're back to
yeah. I
Austin.
can clean the bar, clean the floors and tribe at the bar as well. I'll be grand.
Yeah. Let's get it. All right.
Be
Well,
good.
hey, bud, thanks a million for your time. It's been great chatting, great catching up, and fair
No, it's
play
been
with everything
great.
this season. And yeah, it's class. Well done.
Thanks very much. You're a gent. Great to hear from you. Yeah, it was good fun.